Hey guys, I just wanted to take a quick minute to let you know we did have some technical difficulties with this one, but we will get better in the future. I did a ton of stuff behind the scenes today, but let's get with our interview to Lincoln Mill. Welcome back, everyone, to Halloween Haunts 365. I'm Jared.
And I'm Terry.
And I'm Terry. We got to work on your tagline. All right, so what do we got coming up? We have a live show. Because apparently I'm the only one working on it. When is it? It's August 18th at 3 o'clock. There you go.
At Howler's Hatchet.
House.
Can
we give them the full
yeah.
caps? Should I just play the video?
Yeah, let's play the video.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
All right, August 18th, 20% off with a promo code.
HH365.
Yep. So check that out. But tonight, as you can tell from the thumbnail, we have returning guests. Let me switch the screen to bring them in. Tonight we have Brian and Jared from Lincoln Mill Haunted House. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, Jared, I'll speak for Jared because he muted himself. Jared's good, and I'm doing good as well.
I'm back.
That's what Jared would have said if he didn't mute himself. He would be like, "I'm doing great. How are you guys?"
We are
good to
awesome.
see you guys.
Yes, definitely. Been excited to have you guys back on since you guys are heading into your third year now, right?
We're out here spooking.
We're
out here having fun, scaring people, and just making impact.
It's been 3 years.
Yes, this is their third season coming.
Wow, that went by quick.
You're having fun. Yeah,
that's what they say.
I like to tell people I used to have hair when we started.
You did.
Did I? I might have had hair when we started.
It wasn't a full head of hair, but you definitely had more hair than what you do now.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so none of those questions work because we already did that about starting haunted attraction. As you enter your third year, what have been some of the funnest things you guys have done? I won't get the challenges yet. We'll do positive stuff first.
Well, Jared, you want to go first? Or you want me to say what I?
No, I mean, we really put a lot of emphasis into just building our culture, building our team, and we have a solid rock star team, and we're always hiring for each new season, but this season we only have a few open spots because majority of our team's returning. But for me, it's just the culture that we built and just the enthusiasm and passion that's coming from all our actors, our makeup artists, event staff. I mean, there's a lot of talent there, but ultimately it's the heart and attitude that each member of our team brings to the table, and that kind of reads through the experience that we bring. I mean, we are a very kind of high intensity experience, and you can read that through our team. So for me, that's kind of been the highlight so far.
Yep. The only time I can I second what Jared said. I mean, I run a lot of businesses. I've been involved in a handful of different things in my life. The only thing I can relate this to is like a little league team that's winning every all-star game on trekking all the way to Williamsport. Like literally it is a winning team. It's just the morale, the culture, just like everyone is helping everybody be better. And just, you get there, you can literally feel the energy from the moment people start getting on site every night. And that's something I haven't been a part of in a long, long time. Just, I can relate it back to like 8th grade baseball. Like literally, like you're just on a winning team and it's so much fun. It's like giddy almost being there. But I will tell you my favorite part, at least to date, one of the things I made sure that Jared and I did was document this entire process to date. So in the background, we've been building a documentary on, not the Victor Kane, lore and all that of Lincoln Mill. That is true, right? But also like, how did this actually come to be? How did Victor Kane come to reality? How did Jared and I meet? How do we take this idea to fruition? We're excited to share that with the world here shortly. We've been dribbling bits and pieces of it, but we have about an hour and 20-minute long documentary coming out about Lincoln Mill, be preseason, during season 1, and just leading up. And we're going to actually continue that season after season here, which would be really cool.
That's
That
awesome.
is cool.
I've never done that before, like in a business or anything. Like I've built a lot of different things, and I was like, Jared, we have to make sure we document from the moment we start putting a nail and a hammer, to a piece of wood, and that's what we did. We even documented before then, so that it'll be pretty exciting for people to see that behind the scenes and that level of just organized chaos that had to occur in order for us to open season 1 and then head into season 2 and all of that. So it'll hopefully be pretty fun for people to watch.
Very
And
cool.
we captured the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, this is obviously our first professional haunt, so it's not going to be perfect, what we went through, but I think it's definitely going to be exciting seeing the journey that we went through as two kind of amateur. I mean, I don't think we're kids anymore, Brian, but we're obviously we were new at doing this, but building the team, building a full haunted house in, I think, like 20 weekends we had over the summer. Brian and I both have other commitments as well, so we kind of had to work that in. So I think we're excited to kind of get that out there to the world later on this summer.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
It is. So what are you most proud of in the 2 years you've been open?
My favorite thing is, I tell Jared this because I work the outside most of the nights. Occasionally Jared will let me come in and have some fun, right? But I will tell you, my favorite thing so far, there's a handful of people, and I recognize them every time they come through, that haven't missed an event. And look, the main season, right, we're open 19 nights or 18 nights, whatever that is. I've seen them multiple times for that. Then I've seen them for every single off-season event. That is just like blows my mind, to the fact that, like, look, we change things. We obviously adjust the haunt, make things better, make it more efficient. We're changing sets, we're updating things, but like it's the same 9,000 square feet you're going through, right? Like this experience is the same, but they are bought in and loving the story, loving the lore, loving just it being in the neighborhood, and it's something different to do that just like excites you, like being in a horror film. And I think for me, knowing that we're making that level of impact in people's lives, whether they come once, twice, or 20 times, like, to me, that just says we're doing something right. And for me, that's what I'm most proud of. I'm like, this is not a backyard haunted house. This is a full blown production. And I just like being part of that.
Yeah, I think everything definitely exceeded my expectations. I mean, I knew it was going to be good from the start, just with Brian and I going in this together. But seeing just the experience on people's faces, like, I think we're the first haunted house for a lot of people in the Philly region. And I don't know if that's because of our marketing or the story, whatnot, but I mean, we get some pretty intense reactions. It actually gets a little concerning because we get people dropping to the floor, and it is pretty tight in there. But I think just overall, like the guest reactions coming out of there once they're done. We're obviously not the longest experience out there, but we make sure that we pack a punch. It is intense, and you're getting kind of the full blown experience when you go through there. So I'd probably just say just the impact that our guests and the experience that they've gotten out of it is probably the biggest thing that I'm proud of. Along with just the culture that we built with our team.
Yeah, it's important. And for you to only be missing a couple coming into the haunt season is impressive, because
I think, Jared, why don't you mention how many applications we have this year?
I haven't checked in a few hours, but quite honestly, the last 2 years, I kept full posts of all the ones that came in. I was a little more on the top of things, but I think we're at like 60 now just for the season so far.
Wow.
I think we're around there. Now, with our vetting process, we pretty much determined early on that a lot of people aren't serious about it, so we kind of have multiple steps for that. But yeah, I think we've seen about 60 since. I mean, we do off-season events throughout the year, so that's probably starting in December. Obviously, they're ramping up more now, but it's a little unfortunate that we only have a limited number of positions this year, and hopefully we keep growing so we can keep opening up more opportunities for that. But right now, we're looking for the candidates that just have heart and attitude and also fit into our core values, which are enthusiasm, commitment, and are just good team-oriented individuals.
Well said. So, what feedback from previous seasons has influenced the changes or improvements you made for this year?
One of the things that, it's hard, right, as building this thing from scratch, right? There's priorities. The number one priority was heavily focused on the interior of the haunt, making sure that the inside was good. It was great. I mean, I thought season 1 was amazing. Jared showed everyone that season 1 was child's play compared to season 2. Now we can say that the inside, if it gets any scarier, I fear people may never come back. But the outside has been an area where we've put focus, but just not as heavy focus as we have on the inside. So we're doing a lot more outside this year, a lot more engagement with different vendors, sponsors, different things for people to do outside, trying to keep people on site longer so they don't feel like they have to go in and then just leave. Some picture moments, things like that. So I'm hoping people experience a difference with the organization that should be outside. And again, that's just feedback from people, right? It's like asking people, what do you think? Where can we improve? And then also Jared and I taking a look going, well, look, half the experience is waiting outside, right? It's like, how can we elevate that level to the point that the inside is? And that's something that it's one of the things that we're focused on this year, and making sure that we have a better experience outside than in previous years. Jared will tell you about the inside because it is getting even better somehow, some way.
Yeah, so the first year we had such a tight time frame. I'm a full-time architect, and I essentially work Monday through Fridays. So, and I'm about an hour away. So my time, at least working on the experience itself, the attraction itself, was pretty much limited to just weekends back when we started 2 years ago. And the quality of the attraction, the set design, I knew we could do better. I knew we were just cut with time. So after that first season, we just spent a lot of time kind of studying the cameras and the reactions of each room and kind of studying the flow, where are kind of the areas that are slowing guests down. It was also a huge push to make the attraction longer. After the first year, it was even shorter than what it is now. Like I said, we don't have the longest experience, but that second year was really the focus on making this longer. And this year we do have two new rooms, so we actually have increased the length of it a bit more. And yes, there is some extra space in there that we still have. But we've been busy making upgrades throughout the attraction. So we have those 2 new rooms. And then there's about 3 other areas that have pretty significant upgrades. But the way we also look at it is, I try to look at it as rooms. I mean, we're kind of look at the haunted house as a piece of hardware, and that we're constantly kind of upgrading pieces throughout. We're kind of upgrading the software as well with it. So every time that you go through, even for our off-season events, you're going to be picking up on new things throughout the entire experience. There's some easier things that we're able to do specifically for off-season events, such as changing up the lighting, changing up the soundtrack, changing up the characters and costuming. But we're constantly touching all areas of the attraction. So it's always a different experience going through there, not just from the scares and what our actors bring to the table, but also through the physical environment itself.
I remember I mentioned to Jared, like, I know one of the changes, like the sound this year, right? Like there'd be an area where like maybe you didn't hear anything, like, or like the gap between the speaker systems was just not fluid. So like we upgraded that area, right? One of the other things too that I know Jared's working on, it's only because he tells me, Jared is the master magician and architect behind all this. But one of the things that was like big, like, and I would always argue, and you'll see a lot of this in the behind the scenes documentary, you know, Jared's big on the story, very big on the story. And I would question Jared. I go, Jared, how many people give an F about the story? Right. So it was this constant like, look, there's people that just come here and want to be scared, don't care who the hell Victor Kane is. Right. They just know they're coming to get scared. And Jared's like, no, story driven, driving it all the way. So I said, all right, I'm bought in, Jared. We're driving the story to the ground, to the grave, no pun intended. We want to create ways throughout the experience to then tell the lore. Right. And that starts from the moment you get on site. So I think if you come through this year compared to other seasons, you're going to get more of that in as you're going through the haunt and different things like that. And again, driving the story home and elevating the experience as you're walking through it to even make a bigger impact to people and adding to all the senses that they're experiencing as they walk through.
Yeah. Yeah. And there have been haunts. There's many haunts out there that have a good backstory. We look at ours a little bit differently. We look at ours as an evolving story. We do that through our off-season events. Like we're not just doing Christmas for the sake of doing Christmas. The Christmas event tells another piece of the backstory of our evolving story, I should say, as well as our St. Patty's, our Valentine's, and those will continue to evolve. But with every great story, like you don't want to give all the details. You don't want to give everything away. I mean, we plan on being around for quite some time. And it was important that season 1, we introduced the flood. I mean, our building was underwater. We introduced the flood, exposing the hidden chamber, learning about Victor Kane. But we wanted to keep it kind of vague on purpose, just to kind of build the suspense and mystery. I mean, if you look at Star Wars, the episode 3, when A New Hope came out, it took quite a few years to learn who Luke Skywalker's father was. And you don't give all the details away at once. And each season, any off-season event as well, we're consistently kind of digging into that. So this year we're learning more of why Victor did what he did. A lot of that was kind of a question mark. And there's a lot of kind of psychological references that will be kind of tied into that will be revealed this year. It's kind of like I'm peeling an onion, and we're never going to give everything away in the near future, but more and more things are constantly going to be coming out about this story. And
kind of adding on to that, why I said, all right, Jared, you're right. Being outside this year, just talking to people, right? So my job, if I'm out there, you see me, it's like, how was it? What'd you think? I'm asking 50 questions to hell, right? This year, more than ever, people were like, I didn't see Victor Kane. Where was Victor Kane? And I'm like, he was on break. Like, that's how I'm thinking, right? Like, he's probably in the bathroom or eating a candy bar upstairs, right? So like, but at the same time, it's like, that is impactful. We didn't get those questions year 1, right? And that just testament to like, because we put more emphasis in season 2. Now we're even tripling down in season 3 to the story and the lore.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing you guys might have picked up on, pretty much all our characters have names. At least all the mill workers, they have an identifiable name. When they emerge, you'll most likely see their name tag, and you might learn about their part in the story. But some of our characters are people are definitely kind of picking up on them, and they're looking for them as they go through. And that was really kind of the intention up front. I mean, every great story has this great villain, this great ordeal, like Darth Vader in Star Wars or Voldemort in Harry Potter. And we thought it was very important that we develop that kind of signature character, that symbol of just power, control, just this sinister figure. And just the story, I've always just been really into stories since I was a kid. I've always just loved the great movie, and stories are just so rooted like within our human DNA. I mean, if you look at all of our lives, I mean, our lives are a story. Like as Joseph Campbell kind of sums up in one of his books, I mean, we all are the hero in our own story. We all kind of start out in this ordinary world, and then something happens. In many cases, it's usually a tragic event. Like in our case, the hurricane had a flood. Like our building was underwater. We don't know what we were going to do. But then you make use of that tragedy or struggle, you meet a mentor somewhere along the way, then you cross that threshold, you enter into that special world. And to me, just like haunted house experience is so perfect for that, because all these experiences, you are entering into this other world. I think we all just crave to escape everyday reality sometimes, and like we want to be a hero in these kind of fictional worlds, whether if it's non-scary, whether it's like Walt Disney or Universal down in Florida. But of course, we're tapping into the scary haunted house realm here, which we're all fans of. But every great story has that villain. So the entire physical environment, our characters, we really try to follow kind of that 3-act story structure, really kind of tapping into the story of just human DNA. So there's definitely, it's not perfect, but we're constantly kind of going back to that story framework that has been evident throughout human history for ever, I guess.
Out of that question.
You
You did. All right. We already did memorable story, so let's go. So what are some new features or attractions visitors can expect in the upcoming haunt season for 2024?
Jared, give him a sizzle.
Sure.
Yeah, we don't need everything. Or you could just shut up and I'll just go to the next question. It's no big deal, bro.
Jared, give him one thing.
One thing, that's tough.
Actually, I'll give one thing from an operational standpoint.
Yep.
And this came out of wants and just asking people. So this year, our VIP ticket, we upped the price slightly, but for good reason. Our VIP ticket this year is going to allow you to go through twice and skip the line twice. Something unique, something different. And as you both know, you've been through it. Every time you go through, you see something a little different. So
Yes.
I'm excited for that, because about 95% of the people that come to each event have never seen us before. And that's wild, just a little statistic I threw out there. But it's so true. And that's where, like, hey, we know how good it could have been for season 1, 2 to have that. So we're excited now for a little bit more money. You're going to get to go through twice, and you're going to get to skip the line both times every night you come.
That's a cool
So
idea.
just operationally, I think it's going to help. And I think we specifically have the type of haunt to do that, right? It's not like you got to trek across and then come all the way back, on a 10-acre field, right? No, you're literally like almost going in a circle, which is kind of cool. Through, into the midway, into the haunt, into the midway, into the haunt, and then back out to the midway. So I'm excited for that. It should provide a little bit more value for people.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So, just a few things inside. So we've introduced some pretty interesting illusions. There's actually a few integrated throughout. I won't give many more details than that on that.
You can leave it there.
We've also discovered a new room down there in the chamber that wasn't revealed before. Right now we're calling it the vault. We discovered some evidence of what Victor and his accomplices did down there. So this was a bit of a mystery in the past, but I'm peeling the onion, and this room will tell us a little bit more about that.
You may even see some hints of that on some of our Instagram posts and just images we've been finding from the mill.
I've been paying attention.
Yeah. It's wild, right?
Yeah, some of it's pretty cool. I'm excited. All right, so I got to ask about the string room. That's all I'm going to leave it at. We won't give it away. Where the hell did that come from? Because I love it. Honestly,
It is cool.
The first time I turned that corner and looked straight, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Are you talking the
Hall of Puppets?
Yeah.
All right. I don't take credit for much for the creative. I'm taking full credit for that room. And Jared laughs. Jared's laughs because he knows I'm not kidding. So out of the whole, I will tell the story. I will tell the story, and you fill in where I miss.
Yeah.
So again, as you can imagine, we were building this haunt at 1,000,000 miles a minute, right? We had Toll Brothers. You'll see this in this thing. Toll Brothers gave us the wall panels. Jared and I are assembling them in a weekend. We're hiring people off TaskRabbit, and then it's like all of a sudden we got to fill this place. So Jared would always get there before me. I never beat Jared down there. I'd come in. I'd wake up 10 o'clock. Jared's already down there at 5 a.m. just getting to work, right? I come in. I go, Jared, what do you need me to do? Where can I be of assistance to you, master evil genius architect today? And he brings me to an area to haunt. He just points. He goes, I got all these bodies, parts. We got to figure out what to do with them. Then there's all mannequins and stuff. And I was like, I thought for a second, I was like, I got it. And literally I was like, we're going to elevate these at a certain height. We'll put the strobe there. It'll scare the piss out of people. And it is one of the more memorable rooms of the haunt. It's so simple, just how it works. And then Jared in his masquerading of it added some features to it, like for where actors could hide better and scare better, right? So I had the idea, and then Jared made it even better.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite scene.
Yeah, it's almost like we don't need to touch it, but it's because when people see it for the first time, they're still mind blown, and it's such a simple room.
It's the easy ones that get people. Excuse me. All right. So we already did changes. Theme you've already been hinting towards. We won't go deeper into that.
Nope.
So how do you balance maintaining the elements that fans love while introducing new aspects to keep the attraction fresh?
The things that fans love are always like the simplest stuff that have been inspired by just other haunts. I would imagine if we were to ask other haunts that have some similar elements that we have, they'd probably say, yeah, the guest comment on this room. We're constantly just looking at the weakest areas in our opinion that nobody comments on, which means they weren't memorable enough. Maybe it's because there just wasn't a right actor alignment in that area, or just something with the set design just wasn't as impactful enough. So we're always touching on the areas that people aren't talking about at all, the weaker areas that we also think in our opinion. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've got cameras up all over inside for security purposes, but we also use that to study the flow of the place. We have a lot of data that we're able to see what areas are effective, what kind of jump spots, what actors in what area. So it's really kind of this really neat piece of technology that we're constantly looking at, going back to, that is making our experience better and better. And we also use that to impact our decisions for the upgrades that we make.
Nice. What went into the preparation and planning for the upgrades you made? Can you walk me through your genius process here?
Sure. So as an architect, I have a virtual computer model. I'm not sure if you guys ever saw it. It's a pretty full-blown model. It's not just a 2D plan. Like I can activate this up on 3D, and I can look at every square inch of the plan, and I am pretty much staring at this thing throughout the year. I am looking at what area, and I have different diagrams and different drawings kind of mocking up where like the flow of the actors are, where like the pinch points for the guests, what spots aren't as effective. And I'm constantly looking at this virtual computer model to see where we can make it better, where are the inefficiencies, both from a space standpoint and which spots aren't as efficient for actors. So that's pretty much the starting point. So I plan out everything ahead of time in there on this virtual model, but then we're actually on site building it. Sometimes the space isn't exactly as what you anticipated on the virtual model. So we'll make upgrades actually physically being in there. In many cases, like all the pin lighting. Like lighting for our experience is so critical. I mean, it's really kind of all about drawing your attention here, then getting you where you least expect it. Lighting's one thing that just has to be done on site for making that perfect. But it's pretty much virtual computer model to that. We're constantly going back and forth, but constantly studying it. That's why, like, off season here, it's so hard to just be like, yeah, we're gonna just focus on this one room. Like, my head doesn't really work like that. I'm looking at the entire attraction constantly. I'm like, we got to fix this, and this. And every year I always do this, like, this little diagram of all the areas that are fixed or that are going to be improved. And my map, I went through it again the other night, and my map through pretty much had everything covered.
And then I come in and I help Jared. I go, Jared, you're nuts. I love it. It's all going to be amazing. I go, well, here's the cash. This is what we got to spend. What do you want to do? What you got? I'll give you every dollar and a little bit more if you need it, but this is where we're at. What do we want to do? What's the most priority? Then Jared reins them in, gives them a little bit of parameters, and then we do the most, highest, and best stuff.
I like it. So, what are some of the logistical challenges of running your haunted attraction?
Logistical challenges.
Because you guys are in a tight spot, in a tight neighborhood.
I think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. One of the things, we want to get people in quicker this year, right? One of the logistical things is when people are outside waiting through security to come in, they don't feel that they're here yet. The moment they cross, all their lighters and knives and stuff get removed out of their purses and wallets and stuff, they're on site. So one of the logistical things is how do we get people in quicker and also maintaining a high level of safety. So we're actually taking some cues from some other haunts that I think do it very successfully, like, Penhurst, right? When you go there, and I studied them this year when I went there, it's like, wow, they have a metal detector. Oh, it goes off. You move that person over here and you allow people that have had their bag searched and go through the metal detector, no problem. So I think that's something that hopefully logistical wise, it'll help the experience for people and get them inside quicker and spending more time actually on site. So I'm pretty excited about that this year. That should help a little bit. I hate seeing a 100-person line down the street to get bags checked. So we're gonna expedite that a little bit this year. That'll definitely help that.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Another thing that's a bit of a challenge, especially for some people that live more in the suburban areas. I mean, I live in suburbia and rural areas. Coming in to our area could be a little bit of intimidating. Parking isn't. We don't have fields of parking. There are several lots both directions, and there is parking. But if you're not used to going into the city or going into Manayunk, that can be intimidating. I mean, I still get a little bit intimidated driving down Eastern State or Fright Factory. There's some things that we're kind of zooming in on just from a communication standpoint. Manayunk holds festivals on the main street there, right in front of our building, and somehow they managed to attract 30 to 50,000 people for their street food festival.
There's over 50,000 people in a one day event this year.
Wow.
Like, if they can figure it out, we can figure out our little Friday, Saturday night ordeal.
Right.
Right. And again, they're really good at communication, promoting that. Again, just an area that we didn't have time to focus on. Like, they'll figure it out. Well, now we can make some diagrams. We can communicate earlier to the people with tickets. Hey, here's the parking lots. Like, imagine getting an email the day before you're coming. Looking forward to having you. Here's all the parking. Here's where you park. We don't sell the parking. It's, Parkway Corp, whatever, right? But that's kind of some stuff we're going to be doing this year to really help visitors just be sane before they go inside and get dragged out from all the doors. They can't make it through, right? So we want to alleviate that stress on attendees.
Right. And we didn't quite do this as much the second year. We're digging deeper into our analytics. We have some information that we haven't quite had in the past, and we're able to use that data to help kind of inform where potentially the pain points are, which zip codes we're not hitting well, and there is parking. Back to the whole parking thing. There is parking, but we're discovering it just is not communicated, and there's definitely a pain point there. So we are looking at addressing that, and we think our analytics are going to help with that.
I'm going to give the fans a hand here to solve the parking problem. When you're heading to Lincoln Mill, what do?
We get there early.
You get there early, and there's street parking. We walk 10 feet. So,
but every time we've been there, it was very close. Very close.
Yeah, we were lucky. So get there early and have fun.
And again, back to like the other haunts, right? If you go to another haunt, you're like, oh, I'll just go to Bates, and then all of a sudden you pull into Bates, and you got fields, or you pull into Penners, you got fields, right? So, I'm going to pull into Lincoln Mill. Wait, what? I can't pull into Lincoln Mill, right? Like it's just what we're dealing with. And again, it's just educating and promoting and informing, and that's something that you're gonna, if you buy a ticket this year, you're gonna see that information.
Well, you would think the first thing that pops in their head, it's a manioc.
Well,
People don't know what
Yeah.
I didn't know what manioc looked like until
and
I went to
that's
Lincoln Mill.
Oh,
we found
well,
too.
okay. I used-
We found too that people just sometimes it's on a whim, right? A majority of tickets are sold day of,
Yeah.
right? We've had people just, oh, I came into town tonight. I just looked at a ticket. You know, they might be staying out in like, Bala Kinwood or one of these other
Right.
burbs, and they're like, oh, this is this closest haunted attraction. It's in Philly.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
true. You were never there. I used to go to the bars
yeah.
in Manioc.
So those are some logistical issues that we're currently focusing on. We've certainly ran into some challenges, and I think back to my comment on the good, the bad, the ugly for our documentary, like this was covered so well, and it still gives me kind of goosebumps looking back at that footage, just like reliving those moments.
Wild.
Season, I guess, are you guys interested in hearing a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
we can do it.
Some of those challenges. Brian, what was our issue the start once we opened up first year? What was our challenge we were first faced with?
The first night we opened up, I'm gonna blame Jared. He turned on the fog machine too heavily.
I'm gonna blame Brian because Brian got married the weekend before, and I had it in my schedule to test out the fog, and it never happened. So
We never tested the fog out. We decided to test it out when there was 100 people inside. So that was a little challenge. Obviously, we worked through it, but it's just like, all right, if we're going to put the fire alarms on and turn all the lights on in the middle of the haunt, why not the first night to make it happen, right? Just getting our, earning our badges. But like that whole experience was captured in footage. Like that's
awesome.
wild, right? Like Jared's literally sitting in the control room watching every camera, and all of a sudden the lights come on. He freaks out.
I am shaking. You see footage of me running back and forth. Brian's by the control panel on the phone with the fire department, like over and over again, because we would get it disabled. And like we ran through fire drills and evacuation drills like with our team, and we knew what we were doing, but like it was a false thing. We knew like we're setting off a fire alarm up on like an upper level. There was just something weird going on, like with the humidity and just the way that our fog was pushing, like the air system inside, just the air conditioning and the airflow. It took a few days to really understand that. And I, as an architect, I do have a level of understanding for mechanical systems, but after that first night, like that, I think I spent the entire night. I would just wake up every like 15 minutes, going through my head, like how, like where's the air flowing? How do we we can't not have some fog in some areas. Now we're not like a super foggy haunted house, but just in my head, I'm just playing through like how do we fix this issue? And that was a huge panic because literally like the first few groups were going through, and I think it was like maybe between like 50 to 100 people inside, by the way, Brian.
There's about 100 people inside.
And like, obviously we just opened up. Actually,
this will be great for the news story. Like,
yeah.
It was just like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? We finally got here. We got this open and like this happens. Like, come on.
Yeah. And I'll do a shout out to Field of Screams here. They were some of our first customers on that opening night. So I think their whole team of like 30 to 40 people were all going through like when the lights went on, and we're just panicking because like before we even began, we thought it was like all over. We're like, what if we can't fix this?
Yeah.
But that was like the first big challenge. And when we had our first busy Saturday, which was like a week later, we definitely didn't anticipate the crowds. Like the first few weeks, like the first weekend, I think the start of that second weekend, like we had crowds, but it was nothing that like we couldn't manage. Like we had a nice flow going. And then all of a sudden, like that early Saturday, we just like there's hundreds of people trying to get in the front. So we had a security line going all the way down the ball. People were waiting like an hour. I'm afraid to say it out loud. People were waiting like an hour just to get through security. and our
Wow.
flow, we did not know what we were doing.
And again, it was like it was like minor things on how the security was set up and how we were wanding people, right? Like, and again, look, safety number one. No one's bringing a weapon in, right? Like we've caught knives, we've caught guns. Like literally, the security team. Shout out to Engage Security. They've done a tremendous job. But like just that little nuance, like where we literally had a line of 100 people going down to the parking lot, and then I had to start another line down the other way on Main Street, and it was just like. Now we do that on a Thursday night. Like literally, it's like that was the amount of people. Well, not saying numbers, but like we'll do that on a Thursday night now. It's like runs like you don't even wait in the queue line more than 40 minutes right now. A full queue line. So
And, yeah, and to add, and I'll just keep kind of digging into it because I think it's fun and interesting to hear because we really haven't shared this much yet. I don't know if it was that first busy Saturday night, but it was like shortly after that. We got a prank call that somebody fell in the river behind the mill, which is the Schuylkill River, and this is not a creek. This is a legit like river that's pretty deep.
So I'll take over from there. So Jared's inside, right? Jared's running inside. I'm running the outside. I go up to, because I'm dealing, and again, prior to leading up, all the, the police districts, like everyone around, right, we're very open. Hey, these are our events. We're giving them everything. So I went up to the police district literally, Thursday night or Thursday, like that week leading up. I said, look, these are our busy weeks. Like we're going to have, thousands of people down here, So I was like, oh, like, yeah, we'll put a patrol car. Great. Patrol car pulls up and I go, oh, I'm Brian. Nice to meet you. Any questions? Let me know. I'm out here. Anything you need, appreciate you being down here. He's like, oh no, there's a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? I would call if there was a problem. He goes, yeah, there's a person in the water at Mad River or Lincoln Mill. I'm like, no, there's fucking not. That's what I said to him. Just like that. No, there's effing not. I go, because I got people on the deck. I got radios. I was like, I would know already. Right. They're like, no. And he quote unquote goes, they're all coming. And I go, what do you mean they're all coming? He goes, the squads. There was a helicopter on the way from Center City. There was 10 ambulances. There was 10, 15 fire trucks. All of a sudden, the entire intersection on a busy Saturday night, I got lines down the street. I got people inside. I got the thing is running. And I'm like, guys, this is bullshit. Like, they're like, we got to go look. The whole water rescue team shows up. They're dragging like a whole water rescue gear. They come up looking over the deck. They're shining big mag lights. I'm like, guys, no one's in the fucking water. Go. And they're like, we got to check. We got to. I'm like, what an asshole. Whoever that person was that called that in, like, just
that's
that
crazy.
level of it. But like, it was good PR on our end. Like, everyone's like, what's going on? We got flashing lights. The whole intersection shut down. But like. You'll see that in the documentary, right? Like it's things like that occurred that like you don't anticipate. You plan for the worst and always hope for the best, but like we didn't plan for that. We didn't plan for 30 medical vehicles and a helicopter flying from Center City to find somebody that didn't exist in the water.
Wow.
But now Jared and I being the right operators is like, how do we make sure no one ever goes in the water? Like now it's like how we built the outside. You can't even hop over, right? Unless you're in the drinking area. Like you can see over the ledge, but like you're coming running out of there. There's no chance you're hopping in. No. But it's from that experience that we made sure we're like, oh my God, what if this did happen?
That was a peak busy night. The entire queue line was full.
We didn't halt it though. I knew better. I was like, Jared, there's nobody in the water. Keep the lines moving. But they were bringing in stretchers. Everyone thought like something crazy had happened. Like there was over 100 like EMS, EMTs, police. Like you never seen anything like it. You would think it was a bomb threat. It's wild. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. It felt like I was watching a TV series on like Chicago PD or something crazy. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Crazy.
Scary.
Can't believe that.
But that's on the documentary. Back to that, right?
When's the documentary come out?
Jared, when's the documentary coming out?
We're looking at early September.
Okay, cool.
It's cruising along. We're pretty far along. As Brian said, it's about 100 minutes or so. So it's gonna be broken up into episodes. So we have plans for the unveiling, which we'll be releasing soon. But yeah, we're excited for that to get out there because a lot of things like building something new, that just a new attraction that attracts a lot of people, especially like in an urban area like ours. Like, people don't see just the struggle and just the chaos behind the scenes. And we just feel like, I mean, the whole experience itself is cool. The story's cool, but like all building this and just the challenges and the just chaos is actually pretty interesting as well. So
Yeah. And part of it too, I there's a lot of people that, I don't like scary stuff, I'll never go. Right. I'm hoping that this is a different way to attract another audience where it's like, that is cool. I kind of just at least have to go and experience it. That's what I'm hoping, that we get a whole another wave of an audience that sees that and appreciates for what it is. And it's like, I will suck it up and try to go through this because of all of this that I saw happening to this.
yeah. And this isn't just going to be one documentary. We have plans in place. We actually started already recording season 2. So as you know, we do off-season events throughout the year. So you're going to see kind of the process for those events, putting on those shows. And this is gonna continue as we move forward. It's not just like a once and done thing. We're constantly documenting this process.
That's cool.
All right, so are we getting any more all-season events, like different times, or are we sticking with the Christmas, Valentine's, St. Patty's stuff?
It's very possible. Very possible.
He's sending that sizzle.
It's very possible.
I like it.
We're trying to do things a little bit differently. Obviously, we have our main story. Our Star Wars event, that was kind of cooking for a little bit. That kind of was released like last minute. Even our team, I think our team, they knew we were doing a halfway to Halloween event, but they didn't know what that was, because the first year it was called Victor's Vengeance. We changed up like the lighting, the soundtrack in there, but we were kind of cooking this Star Wars inspired experience, and I guess technically it was the world's first, right? As what the media was saying. But we have some other things cooking that we haven't been done before. So there's.
Leave it there.
I'm gonna leave it there.
We can leave it there. We can leave it wherever you want. Listen, I let people give away what they want. If they don't want to give away shit, it's all good.
Just wait till it comes out. We'll watch other haunts open up Valentine's and Christmas events.
Oh man. All right, so I only got like 2 more questions here, then I'll let you guys go. How do you stay current with trends and innovations in the haunted attraction industry?
You're already seeing it. I mean, one of the things Jared's doing with some of the stuff we're finding in the mill, some of the images that are being created, a lot of the technology that we're using, I think we are doing it short of Universal and Disney. I think as a haunted attraction, we're doing it at a certain level that isn't always seen. The Revit, the BIM stuff that Jared's doing, how he's designing the haunt in 3D on the computer and then implementing that into the field, how our marketing's occurring. We're using the latest and greatest technology out there to allow us to not only get the word out, but to allow us to create the best experience, and we keep layering on. What did I miss, Jared?
Brian and I are both pretty much into technology. Him and I geek out on some future stuff. I know we've heard some upcoming words in tech that are starting to hit other industries out in Silicon Valley.
Hold on. All right, we are back. You can continue with the conversation about the latest and greatest tech.
Is there any of what I said still there? Or is it, you want me to just say it again?
It should be there. Let me check.
All right. And of course, on a technology question, we're having all technology issues,
right?
Like,
all right, I'm going to pause it real quick to make sure. All right, before we have more technical difficulties, Jared, what are you looking most forward to for the 2024 season?
All the people that come out and see the changes, and all the people that we impact through our experience. There's just so much. I mean, the fall season is just a whirlwind. seeing our team get back together, seeing our customers experience the show, seeing people walk through and experience the sets. Like, I'm very just excited for everything and haunt season to begin. The summer seems to drag on a little bit too long for me just because I'm anticipating haunt season coming too soon. So I can't stop thinking about this stuff. I think about it nonstop. And yeah, I just can't wait till we get started again.
I hear you and I feel you right here.
I know I can't wait to get back.
Yeah, for real. All right, Brian, what are you looking most forward to for 2024?
I'm going to speak on behalf of the team and myself. I am most looking forward to pineapple pizza. So funny little inside the team. We make sure we get a pineapple pizza every night. It's a must request, and it's become a big joke because some people hate the pineapple pizza, but some people can't live without it. And it's just always a funny thing. Like, make sure we get the pineapple pizza. Every Saturday night we do pizza with the team at the end of one of the hardest nights, right? So I'm looking forward to pineapple pizza, and that means everything else is happening right.
Awesome. Very good.
That's cute.
So any lasting things you want to say before we cut out for and you round up to the 2024 season? Anything you want to push, promote, talk about, hide? It's all good.
Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you keep an eye on when we're going to be dropping the Built to Scare. I guess we could say that the documentary is called Built to Scare. So keep an eye out for that. I think people appreciate it. If you try hard enough, you may find some of that already out there on the internet, just dribs and drabs of it as we're testing things. But keep an eye out for
might
that.
have saw a clip where someone yelled "Oh fuck" and got out of the chair real quickly.
Little snippets there.
I don't think that was me.
No, I don't think it was you.
I don't get out of anything quickly. It took me a minute to get up.
I hear you. Me too. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Are your tickets on sale yet for the 2024 season?
They will be very soon. We open up that last weekend in September. So Friday the 26th is our opening date. And we're pretty much running weekends through the first weekend of November. So we'll be opened most Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That'll be released here very shortly. So we'll be making an announcement on all our platforms. So Brian mentioned Instagram. We also share original content on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. So we'll post a lot on there. We're giving little hints at our upcoming documentary and other things that we're working on as well. So definitely check out our social platforms.
Who does the TikToks? Because they do a really good job.
I do our TikToks. I'm a bit of a noob, but I think I'm getting a little bit better.
Nah, I like them. They're really cool.
I really want him to post the ones of him dancing in front of the mirror, but he won't. He does a bunch of them.
Yeah. Tell you what, like, I'll just kind of add this in there. Like, year one, like, I want our original content with like the realistic promo trailers. I would have thought that content would have hit better. I mean, minus our main flood video, but we're constantly just kind of studying our analytics. We're seeing what the algorithm likes. Yeah, TikTok, obviously just certain content hits better and we try to recycle that content, but also kind of tie it back to the story.
And it seems to be doing well.
Chainsaw, the VFX puppet, the upside down costume. There's just some trends that just hit over and over and over again. We just remix them.
Very cool. Well, I just got a message that my Windows is shutting down. So I would like to thank you guys for coming on the show. Next time we do this, it'll be better. I'm going to call my tech guy and yell at him and figure out what the hell is going on.
Thank you so much for having us.
But we'll have the links in the description and all that, and we'll see you guys next Monday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good. It was good.
Night after night.